Everyone, welcome to Cobra Kai Studio. I'm your host Danielson with co-host Mr. Bay Area, and in today's video we have a very exciting, not just theory, but possible confirmed theory that Mr. Bay Area has discovered. So I'll let you go ahead and lead on what you want to lead on there, Mr. Bay Area. With you can like kind of explain everything you posted and the whole confirmation that we got from Homeless Lynn.
Okay, so Cobra Kai Kid was doing a thing on Twitter where he was asking us, the fans, who we would like to see return in season six. And one of them was Homeless Lynn, Susan Gallinger. And I retweeted, yes, we need to see her again in season six. But then I decided to let out the theory that I've had since season three regarding her. And that is that I believe Homeless Lynn is really Betsy, Kreese's lover, before he went off to Vietnam. And the actress, Susan Gallinger herself, replied back to my tweet saying, I like the way you think, wink, wink. So that leads me to believe that my theory is going to turn out to be true regarding Homeless Lynn being Kreese's long lost love, Betsy.
Right, and it would honestly make a lot of sense that would be a confirmation because if it wasn't, why would she have said anything at all?
Exactly. And given that before, when I was hassling the big three to put my kick in season four, eventually John Hurwitz replied back to me, letting me know that anything is possible. And sure enough, they put the kick in season four.
Right. And not only that, we realize now that a lot more people are starting to be more open to that theory of yours because we've seen in Cobra Kai Kid's latest video, there's comments of people bringing up, well, what if she's Betsy? Well, you've thought of
Yeah,
that for a long time now.
yeah. Funny thing is, though, there are people who are up for it to want to see Homeless Lynn be Betsy, but then there are people who are saying that is just bad writing on the big three.
Well, see, I don't say
Which
how that'd be
I
bad writing. It would only be bad writing if they told us right away and never went anywhere with it. But if they
yeah,
kept it a
and
secret this whole time and it's been this huge
yeah, and
buildup,
that yes, and that was another thing. A person asked me, why would they have kept Hopeless Lynn and Kreese away from each other this whole time? And I told the person that's because the big three did that on purpose.
yeah, because what if Betsy's going to be the one that brings Kreese back to the real world? Basically, say what if Kreese runs into Homeless Lynn and they snap, and that's what brings Kreese out of his wanting to do whatever the hell he's doing in this next season.
Yes.
Because the way it seems is
Well,
it's set up for him to be on a vengeance road from hell.
yes. Well, one thing we do want to put out right now, Sensei, you and me talked about it, is that how do we think we're going to find out about Homeless Lynn's real identity? And the only person I believe who's going to find out about who she really is Johnny, given that she's only had encounters with Johnny throughout the series.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways that could play out. What if Johnny has to help her pick up her stuff or something and he sees an ID or something that says Betsy? He would have to have heard the story of Betsy at least from Kreese. He might not have seen photos of her, but he would at least have to know about her. You'd think Kreese would have not said nothing about her ever the whole time,
I
training
kind
her.
of feel like he would have, because don't you remember in season two when Kreese was starting to take over Cobra Kai and Johnny confronted him about, Cobra Kai will always be badass, but there's a difference between mercy and honor. And then
Hmm.
Johnny told him, I don't know what kind of shit you went through back then, but these are good kids and they don't need to relive our mistakes. So that right there tells me that Kreese did not tell Johnny anything about his
That's
past.
possible too. That's possible too. So maybe there would have to be another way for because Johnny wouldn't
The
know what
only
Betsy
way
would mean if that was the case.
I can see Johnny finding out the truth about Betsy and Kreese's connection is that Betsy tells Johnny about her past, about how she became who she is now, homeless and everything, and that she wasn't always like that. She was once happy. She had a lover, but unfortunately, he died over in Vietnam. And the reason why Homeless Lynn keeps coming around Johnny is because she sees something in him that reminds her of Kreese.
Right, which would make sense because he was trained by Kreese, so he'd have some kind of Kreese type vibes, attitude, etc.
You're right, exactly. So then finally, when Johnny decides to ask Homeless Lynn who this lover of hers was that she lost, she'll tell him that his name is John Kreese. And then Johnny would be like, D. John Kreese. And then that's when everything will take off from there. where Johnny has to tune in to Kreese to tell him the truth.
And I can also see it playing out where Kreese goes to attack Johnny and Daniel or whatever, and Johnny tries to, bring up Betsy, which if he's never told him about Betsy, he would have to believe Johnny because he'd be like, wait, how do you even know who the hell Betsy is? I've never told you about her.
Right, and then that's
So
when
it might
homeless.
stop something from happening. Like, say Kreese is about to kill Silver or somebody, and Johnny's like, stop. Betsy wouldn't want you to do that or something, you know what I mean? I could see something like that playing out to where it stops him in his tracks because he'd be like, wait, what?
Yes, how I see it happening, I see Johnny going to find Kreese wherever Kreese is hiding, because we know he's going to be lurking in the shadows because he's wanted right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Johnny will find him wherever he's hiding, and he'll try to talk to him. But unfortunately, Kreese is going to still be pissed off about what happened in the prison. So I think there's going to be a fight taking place like how they did in season 2. Then
Yeah, I
so
can see
Kreese,
that.
yeah, Kreese will get the better of Johnny where he got him on the floor and he's pummeling on him. But then that's when Lynn will walk in, and then Kreese will stop and look at her, and he'll be like, "Do I know you?" And then she'll be like, "Take a good look at me. You do know who I am." And then that's when he'll break down when he realizes it's Betsy.
I wonder what it's gonna do if that happens that way. I wonder like if that's gonna really change Kreese for the better. Is he gonna like try to snap out of it? Is he gonna want to be a better person? Is it not gonna do anything? Like
I
I
think
know
it's
it's been a
gonna
long
change.
time, but I feel like Betsy would still hold a huge place in his heart.
I think it's gonna turn his whole world upside down, because when he first sees her, he's gonna realize that for the last 40 years of his life he was lied to. That the last 40 years of his life was a lie.
Right, which would
But
be
then
so fucking like heartbreaking.
yeah, but then he'll be in happiness because he has his love back. He has the goodness back in his life. And it's all thanks to Johnny. So basically Johnny's the only one who still had hope in Kreese.
It makes sense though because Johnny's gonna obviously be the closest to Kreese no matter how we look at it. So I mean, it would make
Right.
sense to play out that way.
Mm-hmm.
It also make perfect sense, like you said, for Johnny to be the one to actually find out that homeless Lynn is indeed Betsy.
I think so too. Given that he is the one that can connect everything together.
And he really does. He connects things a lot better to Johnny than anybody else. I feel like that would be the best way to bring Betsy back into Kreese's life is through who's pretty much Kreese's son.
Right.
Because let's be honest, that's
Now,
basically how Kreese has
there's
probably always
something
seen
we
him as as a son.
I want to ask you this, Sensei. If it turns out that homeless Lynn is Betsy, and this whole redeem story happens for Kreese during the middle of the season, do you believe that by the end of the series, Kreese will be redeemed, or do you think he's gonna probably go out trying to get back at Silver?
Well, let's think about it.
Basically,
I can see both possibilities playing out just because, I mean, the big three could pretty much make whatever they want happen. So they could make that happen if they wanted to. I just don't know if I don't know if they want to. I mean, I guess they could increase this thing, but I don't know. I don't know. It depends. I guess it depends on the Betsy thing, really, because without Betsy, I almost feel like there's nothing to control Kreese. That's why I agree with you. I feel like she kind of needs to be in this season because without her, Kreese probably will kill Silver or something like that. That's going to lead him being in jail the rest of his life. Which I don't know. Maybe that's how they want to end the series because they want Kreese to be out of the picture. I don't know. But I could also see a better arc to be Kreese on Johnny's side finally and not against him. Maybe
right
Kreese and
now,
Johnny finally do Cobra Kai the correct way together, the way they always wanted to but never done.
right now, if the theory does come out to be true regarding Betsy and Johnny's the one to bring it together, how do you think Daniel's gonna respond to Kreese if supposedly this happens? Do you think Daniel's perspective of Kreese will change, or do you think he'll still be hesitant with him?
I think he'll still be hesitant with them, at least right at first, because I mean, look at everything already. He might even see it as just another trick or ploy by Kreese, just because Daniel's super untrusting of a lot of people. Like he really
Yeah,
is. He's a very untrusting person. He don't trust
yeah,
people very easily.
right. Yeah, and that's something I've always despised about Daniel, especially too when it came to how he treated Miguel and Robbie.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like he's always been kind of stuck up in a way.
Right. He was all into let Robbie into his house, train him, and even date his daughter, but he would not give the student a chance. And he's not related to Johnny. He's just a loyal student.
Exactly. It's like, what the fuck?
Like, to me, that's very hypocritical.
I have to agree. It is kind of hypocritical on his part, and honestly, Daniel's done a lot of things that's been kind of hypocritical throughout the series. I think
Right.
that's
So,
just his character, though.
well, hopefully he doesn't do anything hypocritical this season because he needs everybody's help.
Right. On that note, what do you think is going to be the biggest mind blown thing to happen to us this season?
I This is my hope. I think the biggest mind blowing thing this season is gonna be whether if Julie Pierce comes in.
I have
Because
to
she's
agree because that's even though not everybody wants her to come back. I know me and you're on the team for her to come back, so I do agree that that's something we really should see.
yes,
Which we've talked about that quite a bit, how we think she could come back, and of course, like you as you disclosed, like she just had the baby.
right. But yes, but the main reason why she does need to come back for story rise purposes is that we need a female sensei to battle Kim Dun Yoon. Because we all know Kim Dun Yoon's going to be wreaking havoc in the valley and all throughout the countries. So, and we know
Yeah.
our sensei are not going to fight her. So that's where we need Julie to come in.
Everyone, that's going to be it for the whole Betsy theory. Let me know what you guys think. Mr. Bear has came up with this theory many years ago at this point now, so it's been something that
Right?
he's been
Since season
waiting for
three.
confirmation for. Right?
Since
He's been
season
waiting for
three, I've had this
confirmation for a very
theory.
long time. So the fact that you finally got some kind of a closure there with the character that plays homeless Lynn commenting that, I mean, that had to be a huge relief and kind of amped up to make you even want to see the season even more.
Yes, it makes us fans even more anxious to find out if there's a possibility for Kreese to have redemption.
Exactly, it really does. So it makes us wonder where that's gonna lead for this episode.
And if you can, fans, leave your comments out to us if you believe that Homeless Lynn is Betsy or not. We would like to hear your opinions on it.
Yeah, and then on the next video, me and you'll get a chance. We'll discuss everybody's comments and see what they all think about this.
True that. I'm all in.
All right, everyone, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. And as we always say, stay badass, my friends, and we'll see you on the next one.
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
Have a good one, everyone.